On Christmas night in 1945, an event occurred in West Virginia, USA, that still sends chills down the spine when remembered. A well-known person, George Soder, was celebrating Christmas with his wife Jenny Soder and their 10 lovely children. Every face was lit with joy, but little did they know that this night was about to turn into a nightmare that remains unsolved to this day. It happened around 1 a.m. when suddenly a fire broke out in the house. George and Jenny fled outside with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping upstairs disappeared forever. Neither their bones were found, nor any other traces. Did they really burn in the fire, or were they kidnapped? Was this fire truly an accident, or was it planned? Welcome back to the videos on Discover TV. This is not just a story, but a mystery that still shocks the world. Let's try to understand every aspect of this unsolved mystery. George Soder was a hard-working Italian immigrant who was strongly against the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. This is why he had to leave Italy and live in America. Speaking openly against the Italian dictator could have been dangerous, but he never showed fear. In America, he ran a trucking business and, fortunately, had his own home. His wife Jenny Soder was a dedicated housewife who managed the children with love and discipline. On December 24, 1945, Christmas Eve, the Soder children were playing with their new toys. Night came, and the 5 children upstairs went to bed. Around 1 a.m., Jenny smelled smoke in the house. When she went to check, she discovered a fire had started in the kitchen. George and Jenny ran outside with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping upstairs were left behind. George tried every possible way to save them. When George ran toward the second-floor window, he saw that the ladder was missing. He thought about using his coal truck to reach the window, but when he turned on the ignition, the truck didn't start, and the other truck wasn't working either. The people present there tried to call the fire department, but unfortunately, there was no response. Later, when they finally contacted the fire chief, the fire brigade arrived hours later. Everyone thought the fire had killed the 5 children, but this case was more complicated than it seemed. The next morning, when the investigation began, the officials made statements that closed the case. They said that the children had burned to death in the fire, but this didn't make sense because human bones can't turn to ash even at 800 degrees Celsius, especially the parts containing calcium, like human teeth. These don't even burn in a furnace. So how could it be that not only were the bones of the 5 children missing, but there were no teeth either? Later, forensic analysis confirmed that the fire wasn't hot enough to turn the bones to ash. This raised serious concerns, and the Soder family immediately rejected the investigation report. The investigation team claimed the fire was caused by a short circuit in the kitchen, but George Soder said he had recently rewired the entire house, so it was impossible that there was a fault. When George tried to recall the moments of the accident, he remembered some odd things that hinted at something suspicious. At the time of the fire, when he picked up the phone to call the fire department, the phone wire was cut, and it was proven during the investigation that the phone line was cut from the outside. The phone line was not broken but cut smoothly, something that could only be done with pliers. Jenny Soder also remembered that around 12:30 a.m., the phone rang, and a woman on the other end was laughing loudly. Jenny hung up, saying it was the wrong number. If the phone line was cut at 1 a.m., and just half an hour before that, an odd call came, then it meant the phone line was cut before the fire started. This night was full of strange events. Before the fire, Jenny also heard something fall on the roof. Later, when she didn't hear anything else, she went back to sleep, and shortly after, she smelled smoke. Additionally, the ladder that George kept in a certain place was found far away in a field, while both of George's trucks, which were working perfectly a day earlier, malfunctioned during the fire. All these events led George Soder to believe that his children hadn't died but had been kidnapped. But how did someone manage to take them amidst all the chaos? Months before the incident, an insurance agent had come to George Soder, urging him to take home insurance. When Soder refused, the agent threatened him, saying, "You'll realize the importance of insurance when a fire breaks out in your house." Could someone have used the fire as a distraction to kidnap the children? Another theory was that George Soder's outspoken opposition to Mussolini angered the Italian Mafia, which targeted him and took his children. Some people claim to have seen the Soder children in different places after the fire. One woman said she saw them in a hotel with a strange couple, and other reports said they were seen being taken away. So many theories, but it was confirmed that the Soder children didn't die in the fire. So where did they go? A year after the incident, new evidence surfaced. The investigation team, which had initially claimed the fire was caused by a short circuit, was proven wrong. A new investigation revealed the fire was deliberately set. A bus driver who had passed by said he saw people throwing something like a fireball. A few months later, when the snow melted, a rubber-like object was found near the house, which was later identified as a pineapple bomb. Jenny remembered the strange noise she heard on the roof just minutes before the fire, and perhaps that was the pineapple bomb. George and Jenny spent their lives searching for answers to this mystery. They left no stone unturned and followed every possible lead. They even put up a large billboard with pictures of their missing children and a reward. In 1960, 20 years later, Jenny received a letter with a picture of a man who looked remarkably like their son Louis, and the letter only said, "Louis Soder, I love brother Frankie." Was this letter written by one of the missing children? Or was it a prank? George and Jenny hired a private detective to investigate, but Louis Soder was never found. Years passed, and the mystery remained unsolved. George Soder died in 1969. Jenny and the surviving children continued to search for answers. After George's death, Jenny never left the family home. She fenced the house and built new rooms. In the remaining years of her life, she always wore black due to the grief. After Jenny's death in 1989, the family finally took down the old and worn-out billboard for the missing children. Were the children victims of a tragedy or part of a larger conspiracy? This is a mystery that may never be solved. We hope you like and share this video on Discover TV. Thank you for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.